and everybody in first place. Raise your glass, let's celebrate. Own lane in your own race. Why you got such a sad face? Not up to me, you chose your fate. It's a long way going down. All I can do is say congratulations. All you niggas do is slay and hate. But how can you hate when you can't relate? I ain't got time, I got moves to make. Cross the finish, not shake and bake. I don't know what to do with my hands. Look at this money and dance. Oh, damn. She like, give me one more chance. All I do is give her cash. She get the cash, she drop it so fast. She on the pole, she doing the dance. I'm like, mommy, come give me that stance. I'm like, quarterback and she like, I don't give a fuck, she rockin' the mic. She got hair, she got body sight. Take the word and you rock it or not. She can go down when I tell her. She can go get her hair perm. She can go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another week of Who Got Game. I'm your host, Jason Zone Fisher. In a moment, we will be joined by our illustrious group of guests, co-hosts, and contributors. We got a lot of basketball to talk about, but thank you for joining us for another week because we are in the conference finals. Things are heating up. So let's just get right to it. Let's bring in Pavy, the one and only. What's up, Pavy? I hear you were out till 4 a.m. last night. How you feeling?
You brought in the remains of Pavy.
Okay, all right.
This is what is left of me.
It's because you don't have a kid, man. 4 a.m. on a Sunday night, that is unheard of for me.
Hey.
Before midnight.
Hey, man, look, I was in the house most of the weekend. I gave BET weekend one day. Yeah.
All right.
Me today.
Well, I'm honored that you're here even while you're recovering. You just woke up. This is like on 3 hours of sleep. So thanks for being here as always. And I got to bring in our own GM. I'm talking a legend in the rap game and in the podcast game. No ceilings with Glasses Malone. The one and only Glasses Malone is here. Always setting the vibe. Look at you in there, man, in the studio. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm feeling illustrious.
You are illustrious.
My takes, the efficiency of my takes is like Aiden scoring the basketball in the playoffs right now. So I'm feeling like a champion. All
right. Yeah, it's highly efficient. I mean, you don't make them all, but you're on one right now. That's for sure.
I'm like 7 for 10.
All right, 7 for 10 ain't bad. Absolutely. We'll get into DeAndre Ayton because he's been balling. The series started with Devin Booker cooking, but really DeAndre Ayton is the guy the Clippers can't stop. Why don't we just start with that series right away? Suns Clippers. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, but for me on the Clippers side, it's that this series pretty easily could be 3-1 Clippers. The Clippers just have not been clutch. And I want to know from you guys, why is that? Is because they need Kawhi in the clutch, PG missing the free throws, or game 4 when they went 0 for 12 from the floor with a chance to tie or take the lead. They just couldn't get over the hump. What is the missing link for the Clippers right now in this series and as a team? Pavy?
As somebody who's covered the team all year, honestly, I think they played 16 playoff games in 34 days. So at like, and then there's really no ways to get people rest. You can't really practice. So if you play a game like PG, you play 42 minutes, the next day is probably spent recovering. Like it's not really spent resting. You're probably recovering. I think it comes down to legs. Like even in the last game and like game 4, what I saw was just everybody just looked tired. Like it looked like we are a tired basketball team. We're trying to figure it out. Obviously, you think, drive. But if I'm tired, I'm not driving like that. So that probably means I'm settling for shots. And then free throws at the end of games, I think it just comes down to fatigue, really. Like I know, shout out Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher always has a quote that Tex Winter would say, is that fatigue makes cowards of us all. I just think it's guys were just tired, really. And that's really what it comes down to. And when you're tired, things don't go right.
Yeah, Glasses. What do you think, man?
Abby, man, usually Abby has my brain in his head sometimes.
My God.
42 minutes, 43 minutes. Everybody's not built for it. You know what I mean? And it's nothing wrong with PG's game. You got to find him more rest. It's tough. You down Kawhi, so maybe that's minutes for him. But you got to find him more rest. You playing Zubac 40 minutes. You're playing Reggie Jackson 40 minutes. And in game 5, back-to-back games, you fall short in the fourth quarter. The last game, what Paul George played in the game they won in game 4, think Paul George played like 40-something, 45 minutes or something crazy.
Yeah, he's played like
he
40
played in
minutes.
the fourth quarter the same way. You got to find minutes for your guys to rest. You got to find minutes for your guys to rest. They're already short-staffed, one all-time great. You got to find minutes for them to rest.
It's hard. It's easier said than done. I mean, when PG's off the court, the Clippers have been vulnerable looking for offense because who else is going to step up? Where's Terrence Mann from Game 6 against Utah? Where's he been this series?
All that was done with defense. Trust your defense to create offense. You have a fantastic defense. Baron, Pavy, TP, Ashley. I'm a defensive. I love defense. You know, what's crazy is my favorite team all time is the Showtime Lakers, right? That's not even – it's an offensive team. And the teams that beat us are defensive teams. So I hated those teams, but I love what they were able to do. The Clippers, a lot of the teams in the NBA that's left now, you have to trust your defense if you have great defense. Great defense creates offense. Pat Bev created great offense with turnovers. Get some turnovers, play the passing lane, make something happen, but you got to get Paul George under 40 minutes. It's not working. It's too deep. They've played 7 games. He played 7 games each playoff series. This is happening so fast. You got to get him under 40 minutes. And I think Ty Lue is a fantastic coach. I think he's one of the better coaches in the NBA, but this is something that's falling on him right now. You got to find minutes for your guys to rest.
Also, the way PG plays the game of basketball doesn't allow him to get rest in game. Like, he dribbles a lot. He doesn't really go in the post much at all. Like, I remember I think there's a Jordan quote, or Kobe was talking about it, like how Mike would say, all right, like, I know I got to play 45 minutes or 40-some minutes tonight, so let me get rest mid-game. Let me do things that don't really have me expended too much energy. Let me go to the post more tonight. Let me, get my offense from there. I'm going to still get my 25, 30 points, but it won't be so taxing. PG, he gets the ball. He dribbles a lot, does really cool moves. If he's driving from 26 feet. He's like hitting the ground a lot. Like, it takes a lot out of him to play the way that he plays.
The one thing I remember Larry Bird saying, PG needed to play closer to the rim. So if I did have a knock on PG, because I don't have the knock, I don't think he's not clutch. I don't think any of that. I think he's fatigued. Yeah. And he's playing both ways at the highest level. He's defending great guys. He's scoring great. He's doing both. So you got to find time for him to rest, but I agree with Pav. That's what makes Jordan Jordan. He understood if he was going to have a long haul, let me go rest. I'm going to play closer to the block. I'm going to be 14 feet out. I'm going to lean on these people. I'm not going to exert a ton of energy, but I'm going to still figure out how to score for my team.
Well, the one thing about Who Got Game, I know a lot of you guys download the podcast and listen to it. We appreciate that, but we are always live, so we want to hear from you guys live too. Let us know what you think. Is this his ceiling? Can he step up in these moments, be a number one, or is it somewhere between 22, 28 points when he's playing that's kind of has been his cap in this series because he's playing so many minutes and he does look fatigued at times, to your guys' point. How many points does PG need to drop tonight for the Clippers to pull off this upset and keep the series alive?
He just needs to play below 40 minutes for them to have a chance to – they got the right coach to win 3-1. But you got to get him below 40 minutes. Sure.
Also, real quick, Zubac is out. He's spraying his MCL last game.
Zubac is out tonight?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Zubac. Yeah. Zubac.
That's a wrap. They already have Zubac no answer for DeAndre Ayton. I'm saying, like, Devin Booker cooked him in game 1 with the crazy 40-point triple-double for sure. You thought maybe this is Devin Booker's series. He's been solid for sure, but this, in my opinion, has been DeAndre Ayton's series, the emergence of him. The Clippers have had no answer for him. Zubac's has been playing well.
Yeah, the whole playoffs.
The whole playoffs.
You're right. The whole playoffs. Dominating Anthony Davis.
Chris Paul is getting the praise. I love Book's getting the praise. The most important guy for them in the playoffs has been Ayton. With the Lakers is Ayton. So it's his offense against the Lakers. That being able to shoot 70%, the Lakers couldn't have no answer when AD was done. He was destroying them. So even if his rebounding has been incredible. The second series, keeping the MVP of this year's NBA 10% below his season average field goal percentage.
Yeah.
This season, this series, I was telling Pavy before the game, I said, man, the Clippers got a real chance if Monty doesn't go to Aiden. If Monty starts going to Aiden, they are in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Aiden has been the best player, the best Phoenix Suns player this playoff, but he
really has. And it talks about like that whole class, that rookie class between him, Luka Doncic, and the performances that he had in round one, and obviously Trae Young leading the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. It is like next man up, and it is our time is now, which has been a really fun storyline of this postseason. But I guess Zubac is officially listed as questionable.
Yeah, questionable.
If he doesn't play tonight, I think the Clippers are in real trouble, even more trouble than they have been, because even with Zubac doing an admirable job, they've had no answer for DeAndre Ayton. He has taken over this series, and Zubac has become a much more important piece to the Clippers team than they probably envisioned when assembling this roster. Man, that's could be some big news.
Trust your defense.
Yeah.
The thing about Ty Lue, I think he's a great coach. He coaches two ways. Trust your defense. You have to trust you have enough personnel to create defensive opportunities to get basket while you get your star offensive player the rest. You got to get these guys some rest. We're in a different place. You got to get them rest if you want to have a chance to finish and win this series. You could play in 40-some minutes and still a game tonight, but is it worth it? No, you need to figure out how to get him down to 38, 39, right? Get him some rest every game so he can finish strong offensively every game. Trust your defense.
It is, so the Clippers, though, this franchise that finally makes it to the Western Conference Finals, and they've really been in every game of this series. Like I said at the top of the show, they're very close to definitely being tied 2-2, if not being up 3-1 in this series, but they are clearly missing that closer, their best player, Kawhi Leonard. And it's just a cruel fate that injury bug has hit the NBA the way that it has this season. But what is going on with Kawhi? I mean, this is the other storyline of his career, in addition to being an incredible player, one of only two guys in NBA history to be NBA Finals MVP from both conference, leading different franchises to a championship. There's always mystery surrounding him. They keep it very close to the vest when it comes to injury. What are you guys hearing, Pavy? I know you follow the team. It seems like there's no shot he's coming back, obviously, this series. He's not playing tonight. Could he come back if they were to make the finals? How serious is the injury? And do you think any of this has to do with the fact that he's a free agent when the season ends?
I mean, they came out and said it's a knee sprain. Then they said they fear it's something with his ACL. I don't think he fully ruptured his ACL. But if you have an ACL sprain, that means you have a small tear of your ACL. If you're Kawhi Leonard with the history that he's had with the quad, even you started finals 2 years ago, he clearly was like struggling through he did what he did. He was clearly he was ailing. He wasn't 100%. You don't risk it. You don't risk it. Like if Kawhi goes out here and tears his ACL, it's a catastrophic injury. You're talking about a guy who's already had his injury history. Also, he's turning. If he's not 30, he's getting close to 30. These things get harder to come back from as you get older and as you get age and miles on you. And also Kawhi has been playing. Kawhi has been playing very deep into the playoffs every single year. It's not like Kawhi has many years where he playing 82 games and that's it. Kawhi's playing about 100 games every year. It may season, he may play 68, but it's probably like 24 playoff games there every year as well. He's probably most likely not coming back. I know this is the rumor. Cannot confirm or deny, but I did see something flowing around Twitter that allegedly somebody leaked something that he's frustrated with the Clippers medical staff. I don't know why, but allegedly cannot confirm or deny. But I did see that floating around Twitter. But in my estimation, I don't think he's come. I would be very shocked if Kawhi came back at any point, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think he's coming back. You said you think he's close to turning 30. Well, you were right. Tomorrow is his 30th birthday. So today's his last day in his 20s. He is about to turn 30. They don't want to risk that injury, and they've already ruled him out for tonight's Game 5. And as everyone was expecting. But it's just cruel, coming this close in a season where it feels like there is this open door window of opportunity. Let me ask you guys this. If Kawhi Leonard were healthy, as well as Phoenix has played, would the Clippers take this series?
I don't know. I don't. Jay, let me tell you about the low. The low don't do injury. I don't talk about him. I don't have excuses for him. It's professional basketball. It is strenuous. It's hard. People are going to get injured. You have to prepare for it. And if you're not, feel me, then this can happen. So, I mean, the Clippers are playing good without Kawhi. They can win this series today. They can win this series now. So I'm not going to I don't have to play imaginary basketball of what this series looks like. Like, they could win now. They have to figure it out. They have a great opportunity ahead to go to the championship. They have the right coach who's won 3-1 before. You guys been playing fantastic, but you got to make some deeper adjustments. And the Clippers need to trust their defense. Live and die with it. It's okay. It's okay if you lose, but you got to trust your defense, and that will get rest for your offensive players like Reggie Jackson and Paul George. But you got to get them guys. They're not handling all of the minutes well. It's just not working out.
So Glasses, it sounds like you're saying the key to tonight's game, Game 5 for the Clippers to stay alive, trust their defense, be led by their defense, and get rest for some of their key guys like Paul George. Let me ask you this. Is there one guy on the roster that they need more production out of on the offensive end who hasn't been there thus far this season?
No.
No? What are you talking about? No, of course. They're going to need somebody to step up tonight.
The Clippers are a great team. Somebody always steps up, Jay. Somebody always steps up.
Okay. I mean, Marcus Morris has not been stepping it up this series. He's not been stepping it up.
I'm saying because he's defending hell. He's defending. If it's the Suns, he's defending Ayton. He's defending.
I know. That's true.
You can't have it all. Shit.
All right, Pavy, what do you think? Do you think there's somebody that needs to step it up tonight for the Clippers, a supporting, role player to help on the offensive side? Because I agree they're a defensive team, but they held Phoenix to 84 points in Game 4 and lost.
I mean, I think it may be great if Luke Kennard made some threes or something like that. We need, in his minutes, if you could randomly get 12, 15 points from, Luke Kennard. But same time, Glasses is right. Usually somebody does somehow step up. Usually somebody has a game that you didn't expect. Maybe, Nick Batum, you want more out of Batum. But again, Batum, if he's playing the 5, he's guarding Ayton, or he's guarding Saric, who sometimes stretches out. So he probably tired. Like Batum also done played 16 games in 34 days. Also with the Clippers, they've put themselves in 2-0 holes, which is cool. But when you put yourself in a 2-0 hole, now you're facing elimination, kind of sort of things are like ramping up. So you also tire yourself out because if we lose this game, we're down 0-3 and it's pretty much over with.
Mental fatigue.
Yeah. Oh, well, the mental fatigue of this series alone with the so many woulda, shoulda, couldas. Game 2, having that game 1, it felt like it was clinched. PG missing 2 clutch free throws, dealing with the valley oop and how that feels, bouncing back only then to squander another opportunity when coming back in the second half of Game 4. But as our friend Ashley Ross just said in the comments, PG is good, but when he doesn't have someone else, he can get exposed. So I think, to answer the question I posed to you guys, I really think Terrence Mann needs to step up on the offensive side because there are lulls on the offensive end of the ball for the Clippers where PG's resting or not feeling it, trying to get some rest on the court, and you can't always rely on Reggie. He needs rest too. You need another guy who can create his own shot. Terrence Mann did that against Utah. I think he needs to do that.
Terrence didn't create his own shot. He got looks and he knocked down shots.
He did, but he can drive. He can penetrate.
You're not going to win this series through offense. You don't have the offense to compete with the Suns. You just don't have it. What you do have is you have a fantastic defense that can compete with the Suns. A fantastic defense that can compete with the Suns. Let your defense do the job. Stop worrying about your offense. It will figure itself out. But you got to get defense from your whole team. You got to get rest for your offensive players so they can play down the stretch with confidence. That it's obvious them 42, 45 minutes are killing them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like back to Pavy's point, and we talked with Larry Bird when he was saying they wanted to play him in the front court. Somebody in the comments. Matter of fact, I really love your comments. I wish more people commented because it's be more people with some good points, but that's the point. He needs to play more front court, like he's saying with Jordan. Jordan would take whole games and shoot half of the shots in the post. Like, that's a preservation, but obviously Paul George, for as great as he is, that's the separation between him and Michael Jordan, the consistency and knowing how. But the Clippers, for them to come back in this series, trust your defense. Trust your defense. Let them guys get out there. You can sit Paul George down for some minutes. Get stops. Even if you can't score, keep the game close. Trust your defense. Let Rondo, you got Rondo. Rondo can get you a game offensively. He can provide the offense and get you a game. But you don't want to play Paul George 43 minutes and steal this win and kill game 6. Make a change as a whole. Trust your defense. Live and die by it. Stop worrying about the offense. It always figures itself out.
All right. Well, we'll see in just a couple hours. And as Glass has said, if you're joining us live right now on Twitch or on YouTube, thanks for being here. Get in the comments section. We'll get your comments and questions up on the screen as well. And you guys can join the conversation throughout the show. Let's move on over to the Eastern Conference Finals, where the Atlanta Hawks came out hot, upsetting the Bucks in game 1, stealing home court advantage. And a lot of people were like, it's time to believe this is the emergence of Trae Young. He went off. The Hawks are here and they are for real. Stop doubting them, only to be stomped on in game 2, just destroyed, about a 40-some point blowout. And then last night, the Chris Middleton game, where Middleton outscores the Atlanta Hawks in the 4th quarter of game 3 to give the Bucks the 2-1 series lead. Guys, do the Hawks have a chance in this series, or has the real Milwaukee Bucks arrived? Have they shown up?
I mean, absolutely not. I mean, again, and I'm someone who loves Trae Young. I love Trae Young. I remember we went to Summer League to go watch Trae Young. I think Trae Young is great, but I think Trae Young, at his size, in my personal opinion, is too small to be the number 1 scoring option on a championship team. Because what you see is, yeah, it's cool first quarter when you know you got all your legs, you pulling up from the logo and everywhere else. In the 4th quarter, 4 minutes left. Do you really want a logo shot? It's like that what you want? You missed the wrong way. Now it bounced somewhere. And what you see a lot of times is down the stretch, the Hawks they don't take easy shots. They're all threes, which is cool through 3 quarters. But in the 4th quarter, down the stretch, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left, I would rather have something else. Also, they can't do anything with Giannis. Like game 3 was actually one of the best games I've seen Giannis play. He was moving off the ball. You know, he didn't really do too many halfback dives. He was coming from everywhere. His points were everywhere. He was very, very active. Like, no, they have no chance to win a series. I thought game 1 was cute. I thought if they had any chance to steal a game, it was probably game 1. You know, the Bucks probably had a little bit of a letdown. Obviously, you beat the Nets. So many people were thinking that's like the East, damn near the finals at this point. So many people were thinking that. You probably even thought that. You came off a highly emotional series with them. If you're going to still win the game, it's game 1. But, like, realistically, the Hawks should not win no more games. Realistically, the other games shouldn't be close. I mean, even last night, the start was cute. You come out 20-9, the crowd amped up. I was just watching the whole game like, all right, make sure it's tied at halftime, or you're not down 20 at halftime. You'll be fine. The Hawks have no shot. Love them. They've had a great season, you know, but they have no shot to win the series.
Glasses, I know people were coming at you on Twitter and in the comments section after game 1. What's your take on this series? Is it a wrap?
Glass slippers off. Cinderella. Yeah, that's a hag. That's back to a hag. Clean them floors. Trae Young is a poor man Luka Doncic, a poor man James Harden. Undersized, really confident, arrogant, great game. You know, but you're going against somebody that you guys don't have an answer for defensively. Your game is going to run short. It's just what's going to happen. His game is not going to run short. Mm-hmm. He's going to keep on pounding y'all in. Eventually being 5'10", 5'11", you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, you not only like Pavy saying your legs being fatigued, right? But literally, like, you get shorter as the game goes on. So then you're in the lane and it's like, it's trees. It's just trees up in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your only open look is 37 feet away when you don't have legs. So it was never going to be, again, this speaks on how not good Doc Rivers as a coach is. People got so much confidence because of the Hawks beating them. Bud is not anywhere as bad of a coach as Doc. Anywhere. So they're going to challenge Trae Young. You know, he has an injury at this point. You know what I mean? He's playing with that. Like, now they have an excuse. At least they can use this excuse mentally to keep themselves more pumped up for next year.
Yeah, well, let's talk about next year with the Atlanta Hawks because the future is bright in Atlanta. John Collins, though, is a free agent. If you guys were the Hawks GM, would you try to keep this core group together, build around these pieces, or do you think John Collins maybe isn't worth that investment because he's going to want close to a max deal and try to make some other moves? Yeah, Pavy?
They're going to do the same thing Portland did a couple of years ago when Portland went to the conference finals. They're going to overreact. They're going to pay John Collins a max. Right, then they're gonna pay Trae Young a max. Then they have Reddish coming up, Hunter coming up, Capella. I think deal ends in like 2 years. Everybody realistically can't get this money. Probably what's gonna happen is when Capella's contract runs out, gonna let him go, and they're gonna hope the rookie
Okongwu,
Okongwu can step into his place and kind of provide the same thing. But they're gonna overreact. Like this is a weird year. I don't foresee them doing the same thing next year. I mean, they'll like still be a good team, but I don't think it gets easier for them next year at all. Unless DeAndre Hunter comes back and takes a real step, then maybe. But I do think they're probably going to pay John Collins a max. Then they're going to have to pay Trae. Has Trae gotten his max? No. Trae Young's probably going to get his max this offseason, which will kick in next year. Then you got to choose between Cam and DeAndre, and then you're going to have to choose what you're going to do with Clint Capella. So they're going to pay a lot of people some money, and they're not going to pay all of them because they physically can't afford to as a franchise.
Yeah. Glasses, you like the Hawks next season?
No, they depend on too much offense. That team is not – so historically, I've told Barron this multiple times. Historically, teams build around the elite offense or defensive players. You know, Trae Young's offense is not good enough to build around. It's like Isaiah Thomas' offense with the Pistons. His offense was not good enough to build around. You couldn't build an offensive team to win with that because their offense isn't great, right? You had to develop a Dennis Rodman who became this defensive juggernaut that was so diverse, and then you pair that with Dumars and Lambeer and a couple great defenders, and then his offense helps, but then you have to bring in another guy that's a scorer. It's like Donovan Mitchell, the same thing the Jazz are doing. Their offense is not enough. It don't matter that you got Donovan Mitchell and you got Jordan Clarkson giving you 20 off the bench. You build around Rudy Gobert. You go get a super great defensive wing at the 3. You build around defense because you have once-in-a-lifetime talents, you know, in defense or offense. So I think Atlanta is selling seats. Offense sells tickets. I think they keep building around Trae Young. And no, they're not going to get it done.
They need
DeAndre Hunter is out right now, and he's an incredible defensive player.
And also DeAndre Hunter, I think when he was there in January, I think it was January before he got hurt, was 50, 40, 90 for like the month of January. They need DeAndre Hunter to be their version of Kawhi Leonard, which I think he can. You know, I think he can go out there and give you 22 points, you know, shoot very
that's a lot.
But that's what they need. They need him to give you 22 points efficiently and play all world defense. I even like wrote an article about it that's the guy who I'm looking at that they need because I'm with glasses. I just don't think Trae Young's it's also very hard to build around point guards because at some point usually they just can't affect the game the way that they need to be able to affect the game at the highest level to win. It's really hard because of your size. Like even if you look at the past 40 years, maybe you could argue 2 teams. Magic don't really count because Magic's 6'9", but like small guards, and Steph isn't even really that small, but also Steph is an anomaly. If you're gonna shoot like that,
mention Magic and Steph being the great offensive point guards that they were, they both played with defensive player of the years. Michael Cooper, Draymond Green.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's the Pistons.
We got some comments section. I want to get to some of them. CRez100 says the Hawks, they actually need a good 3-and-D wing that has enough offense but can get stops. I don't know if that's someone like in the Jay Crowder mold, that can focus on defense but can hit the corner three, someone like that. I don't know if there's, the free agent list, a good guy that you think would be out there that this team
could use. You need a lot more than that. You need Herter to step up defensively. If he's your starting shooting guard, you need Hunter is playing good. You got Capella, so you got some stuff there, but Herter needs to take a step forward defensively. John Collins, I think, is a good defender. The guy you're talking about, but you're going to need a lot out of Herter defensively. Herter needs to turn into Klay Thompson.
Cam Reddish as well. Cam Reddish,
another ball handler. Trey Drew says to get Trey off the ball a little bit more. I mean, that could help. I know Lou Williams isn't what he used to be, but that I think was the idea between getting him in as a backup and a veteran there. But someone who could play that role. It'll be an interesting offseason. Obviously, they're still focused on this season right now because they've got game 4 coming up tomorrow night. But Trae Young is questionable for that game as an MRI revealed a bone bruise in his ankle. Another case of the injury bug. My guess is he suits up. He tries to tough it out. But he did not look the same towards the end of that game last night after he rolled his ankle that he was earlier.
His offense was never going to be enough. The first game they barely won, and he had the best game of his career.
Mm-hmm.
His offense is not impactful enough at the highest levels against other great offensive players. So you need to build around some defense. You need to get a defensive player of the year. You need to develop Hunter, into this magnificent defender at all levels. You need Herter to take a step forward defensively. I think Herter is a great big guy, and if he can figure it out defensively, like he's going to have to turn into Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is they need to be a lot better defensively than Golden State is right now, was in their prime, because their offense isn't anywhere near as great as Trae Young offensively is not in the same atmosphere as Steph Curry offensively. So you really need to have fantastic defense, and you need to probably get somebody off the bench that's big buckets too.
Well,
but I do agree with the comment that the last brother just said. Trae Young cannot do all of that. Isaiah Thomas, through the early 80s, he was scoring a ton of points. They couldn't get anywhere near the conference finals or the finals. They couldn't sniff it until they dropped his usage. They brought in a guy who led the NBA in score, which is Mark Aguirre. I think he averaged 30 one season for Dallas.
Wow.
And they changed the offense so it wasn't just him. And they depended on defense to get it done, and then they got the points when they needed them.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta does have a lot of pieces. They're a deep team. I think the future is bright there, and they're ahead of the pace being in the Eastern Conference Finals already.
What a great coach. What an unbelievable coach.
I mean, incredible coach. What Nate McMillan has done, I believe the Hawks have the best record in the NBA since that coaching change from that moment forward. That was obviously the right move, and surprising because at the time when they let go of their head coach, I think a lot of people were a little surprised by that move, but it clearly paid off. It was the right move. Nate McMillan leading them all the way to the conference finals this year. But I think we all agree the series is probably a foregone conclusion that the Bucks are finally going to make the NBA Finals. We don't want to give it to them yet. They're only up 2-1.
Everybody got to win. You got to win.
Yeah, you got to win the games.
To Phoenix or the Bucks.
But let's talk about the Bucks real quick, though, because I think, to me, the key for this team to be a championship team is Chris Middleton. It's not Giannis. We know what Giannis can do. I think it's Chris Middleton playing like he did last night, like he did in the fourth quarter of the game last night, showing up, being a 2-time back-to-back NBA All-Star. I'm curious, what do you think is the key for the Milwaukee Bucks to not just win this series, but win the whole thing this season? Is it Middleton? Is it Drew Holiday? Is it defense with PJ Tucker in that mix as well? Or is it Giannis taking another leap, making more free throws, being clutch in the end? What are your guys' thoughts on the Bucks championship odds?
I mean, Middleton, obviously, but like for me with Middleton, Middleton has like a history of doing is when he gets the ball, like give him the ball. To me, I think the real key is just Bud not being stubborn. Like I see sometimes I can think Bud's a little bit too stubborn, and will stick with something a little bit too long. So I think it's just Bud not being. I think they have everything that they need. I think that the guys will get it done when they need to get it done. Just I think Bud is the key for me personally, and not to put everything on the coach, but Bud is the key for me personally.
To be honest, to me, shout out to Trey Drew. That's the dude who had that comment. It's Giannis in the defense. I mean, Giannis is there. Chris Middleton is always inconsistent. What's funny is somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, who would Chris Middleton be back in the day? Because like they feel like I don't give Chris Middleton enough. I'm like, well, the difference between the great players in the NBA, the all NBA players, and the other guys is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Middleton reminds me of a Laker that we had, Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones had moments and flashes where he could have been a top 5 shooting guard. But the problem is inconsistencies. The best players in the NBA at positions are consistent. Chris Middleton is who he is. I mean, if he wasn't who he was, if he was going to give you this every night, he'd be Paul George. You know what I'm saying? So you can't expect consistency out of Chris Middleton. That's not what he does. Either way, we can expect Chris Middleton to be a good player. Drew Holiday to consistently be great on defense against Trae Young, as many opportunities as he gets. The Bucks are a defensive team. Giannis has to be back there roaming, going crazy every game in this series. If he's able to make it to the finals, whoever they play, he has to be this defensive looming presence. His offense will speak for itself. I mean, his offense is, again, I told Pavy, I said, and TP, I said, if he's able to get it done this year, like he's top 15 all time already. You know what I mean? It's I get it. You know, we don't have it's tough for us because we can look at all the holes in this game. Oh, he doesn't do this well. He doesn't do this. It doesn't matter when you're able to take your athletics, right? Like Shaquille O'Neal or LeBron James, and you're able to average 32 points in the last series in the final, shoot at 58%. And get 13 rebounds. In the first series with Miami, you're scoring 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. Like, he's a freight train, bro. We're looking at something unbelievable from a power forward. You know what I mean? I couldn't name 3 power forwards better than him at this point if he's able to pull it off this year.
You're saying of all time?
Of all time.
I mean, do you count Tim Duncan as a power forward?
Number 1.
And then Karl Malone.
Oh.
Well, you say you put Giannis over him because he gets the ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to mention he's already over him as a defensive player of the year. Karl didn't play no defense. Karl was like undersized.
This is a good debate for the comments too. All-time great already. If it ended today, you giving it to Karl Malone over his career or Giannis up
right
to?
Now, yeah, right now for Karl Malone is
okay. But you're saying if Giannis wins the chip, leads the Bucks this season, Giannis is ahead of Karl Malone.
Oh, he's already ahead of Karl Malone. He was already Karl Malone for the season started.
Okay, all right.
It's 5 power forwards before this season started that I thought Giannis was behind. Tim Duncan, Dennis.
I love that you have this list already.
No, right,
okay, all right.
Tim Duncan, well, because I judge basketball as a team sport, so I'm always speaking from that perspective.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, Dennis Rodman, Kevin Garnett, Bob Pettit, Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay.
Those are the 5. Everybody else, he's better than already.
So who's he leapfrogging if he wins a championship this year? Giannis,
Dirk, Bob, and KG.
Okay. All right. Better than KG. Well, Pavy, you're making a lot of faces over there. What do you think about it?
It's just sometimes I hate doing all-time rankings before players get like 10 years in.
Right.
Like, I just like to see it for a decade personally. But no, Giannis' resume, like at 27, if you just go stack up all the other greats at 27, it's a very impressive resume. Like I think I even said 2 or 3 years ago, Giannis, when it's all said and done, if he keeps it going, has a chance to be on the very short list of greatest players of all time. He had he might win some more MVPs. He might win some more Defensive Player of the Year awards. He get 1 ring. He might start winning 2, 3, 4 ring. Like, he has a chance when it's all said and done to be on the very short list of greatest players of all time.
A lot will be determined over the next couple of weeks how far the Bucks go this season, and then he's still a young guy with a long career ahead of him. So I think
I got something for you, Jason. Right?
Yeah.
When is the last time somebody won with this limited of talent? This limit of talent. Think about it, right? If LeBron's championships, right? You're talking about 5-time All-Stars, so it's perennial All-Stars and Kyrie Irving before they play together, rookie year, All-NBA, All-Star MVP, Kevin Love, perennial All-Star, Chris Bosh, perennial All-Star, Dwayne Wade, probably a Hall of Famer before he ever stepped foot on the court with LeBron. Ray Allen's a Hall of Famer before he steps foot on the court with LeBron. AD, first team All-NBA defense, runner-up MVP, runner-up defensive player of the year, first team both ways.
Yep.
Steph Curry, maybe Steph Curry, but then Klay Thompson was kind of way up there. I was telling Pavy, 94 Hakeem Olajuwon. Right now he's playing, all his teammates together have a total of 4 All-Star appearances.
Yeah.
Kevin Love has made more All-Star teams before he played with LeBron James than every Buck player not named Giannis. That reminds me of 94 Hakeem Olajuwon. And think about the kind of two-way presence you have to be to lead a team like that. It's Hakeem Olajuwon.
Right. The Olajuwon, they had Clyde Drexler was sort of the second option on that.
Remember, that was in 95.
That was 95. You're right. Yes, that's
94 right. When he won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. I think he won All-Star MVP, won Finals MVP. He won every award. You know what I mean?
It was just a lot of solid role players on that team, guys like Mario Elie and Kenny Smith and Robert Horry, Sam Cassell, but not
right now.
Yeah.
You have a grip of solid role players. Imagine this guy with Kyrie Irving. Shit.
Right. Yeah. Damn. You're right. I mean, that's a good point.
Somebody consistently unbelievable. Chris Middleton was unbelievable. Like, he has a game every series. You're like, man, that guy should be. And then the next game, you're like, I see. Chris is dope. Drew is consistently off. Like, Drew his offense is inconsistent, but his defense is consistent as all outdoors. That's why I believe in the Bucks defense. Chris Middleton is a solid defender. Brook Lopez has been turned into a really good defender. Giannis obviously is an all-world. He's one of the 50 greatest defensive players ever in the history of the NBA.
Sure.
Drew is probably a top 5 defensive point guard right now. So therefore you have like this defensive thing. Whatever for the offense. Get the stops. Get transitions. Get out there. Run. Get you some buckets.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we'll get to some finals predictions later, but I'm already excited to break down potential finals matchups because I can see them in my head, and I'm really getting excited for all the players that you mentioned to see them on the big stage. They still got to win this series, but it's shaping up to be something special in a year where we've got new cast of characters up there. But we've talked a lot about the conference finals. I also want to talk about some of the other teams in the league who are going to look a little bit different next season, starting from the top down with new head coaches changing places. I mean, we got Rick Carlisle going back to the Pacers, and I'm curious, let's just start there. One, what does that say about the Dallas Mavericks organization that Rick Carlisle wanted out of that situation to go to Indiana? Well, let's start there, and then we'll jump into some of the other guys.
At some point in time, people go, Luka got a very short window to start winning, like seriously winning, because at some point in time, somebody gonna start pointing the finger at Luka. Like, it's coming out that him and KP don't like each other. If Rick Carlisle, who is a great coach, like Rick Carlisle, to me personally, probably one of the 5 best coaches in the NBA, don't want to coach no more. Like, what's going on in Dallas?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think eventually it's gonna say something about Luka, but I think it's great for the Pacers. I don't think the Pacers should have let Nate McMillan go anyway, especially when I look at what he did with what he had. Usually he never had a healthy team. You bring Oladipo in and you give him a really good team, but then he goes down. And to my estimation, you still made the playoffs in all of those years. If I'm not mistaken, he made the playoffs every year. But I think Rick Carlisle would do great things there. I think they have Brogdon, LeVert, TJ Warren was also hurt this year. They have Sabonis. They have Turner. Well, if Turner still was there, I think they also have a lottery pick as well. So I think it's a great deal for the Pacers. And I think Rick Carlisle can at least have the Pacers 5th seed, 4th seed. Maybe even get to semifinals and maybe even get to a conference finals. So yeah.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of talent in Indiana, and definitely one of the most disappointing teams from this past season with the amount of talent they have on that roster. So good hire by them getting Rick Carlisle back. But Glasses.
I think Rick is going to be – you giving Rick a lot. You giving Rick a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. This is more with Dallas, and I agree with Pavy. I think Luka is a fucking crybaby. You know what I mean? It's annoying. He cries too much. He's too fresh into the game to cry as much as he cried. He cries. He cries about calls. He's crying about KP. He's crying about everything. He's a crybaby. It annoys me so much, bro. Develop a mid-range. Stop crying. All that energy. Develop a mid-range. Be able to pull up at the free throw line and knock that down consistently. I think Rick got into a situation where he had a player that's going to sell a ton of seats, possibly a future MVP, right? So he's going to be a ticket seller. But the problem is the way that offense was being ran, I told you then, it was not counteractive to KP. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. You have to utilize a team. And I think it came down to what Luka wanted to do, and Luka probably was threatening to leave if Rick did left. So Rick say, okay, well, you know what? I'll make my point. I'll leave. Watch what you end up with. This boy got to work on his game. It's nobody else's fault but him and TPJ's fault that he did not play well in the fourth quarter. He had horrible fourth quarter performances. And you have to utilize KP much better. KP is too good to be utilized too bad. They need to add some defensive pieces, obviously, right? But you have to stop putting the ball in Luka Doncic's hands. LeBron James the NBA is so confused. It's LeBron James. He's a four-time. He's one of the 5, if not 3, greatest offensive players to ever play basketball. So the things you're able to do with him and win a championship, it still took him playing with other Hall of Famers. It still took him playing with Dwayne Wade, who was a 7-time All-Star champion, a Finals MVP, All-NBA, All-Star MVP, awesome guy. It still took him playing with Chris Bosh. It still took him playing with Ray Allen, who was a Hall of Famer before he stepped on the court. It still took him playing with
awesome guy,
Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. It still took him playing with Anthony Davis, Rondo, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year coming off the bench, Dwight Howard, and it's LeBron James. It's LeBron. This is one of the greatest offensive players ever. Luka is not LeBron James, man. He's not. So trying to do the offense the way they do with LeBron James, that's not going to work for you.
Well, they got a new head coach in Dallas now, Jason Kidd, coming back to the team that drafted him, started his NBA career with. Jason Kidd, what do you guys think? You like that hire? He didn't work out so well, head coaching stints in Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but he's obviously a respected guy in the NBA and was just an assistant with the Lakers the last couple of seasons, and a great point guard. And obviously the relationship with Luka is going to be so key to the health of that team and his job security as well. What do you guys think? You like that hire for Dallas?
I mean, I just want to mention this. Shout out Jason Kidd, great player, obviously. But Jason Kidd,
be some trash coming.
But Jason Kidd did put Giannis at point guard, like point guard. Tried to run it for a whole season. Point guard.
Hey, now I got to chime in because
here he is. TPJ
point guard and literally changed the man's life, bro.
Because listen. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. What he talking?
He wasn't even an all-star.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter.
He wasn't an all-star, and they did not win games.
Stop. It does not matter. He gave Giannis the confidence to say, I'm going to give you the ball and put the ball in your hands, and you're going to be the guy. Giannis literally credits him with his development and his ascension as being a great player.
They won no games.
He literally cried when the man who was on the team. Who was on the goddamn team? Tell me who was on the team.
They could have made the playoffs.
Who was on the team?
They could have made the playoffs.
That's not what I asked you.
They could have made the playoffs. They could have made the playoffs.
Who was on the team?
I don't remember. It was like 5 years ago.
Because they was trash.
They could have made. They could have made the playoffs.
This is the proverbial Mark Jackson Golden State Warriors argument.
Come on,
it's not it, TP.
Come on, G. No, it's not. It's not.
Jason Kidd is
That's not the same thing, G. That's not the same thing. That Warriors team was a complete basketball team.
Too good of a basketball player to be a good coach. He's entirely too good of a basketball player. Great basketball players don't ever make good coaches.
Tell Bill Russell that, and you love Bill Russell. Tell him that.
And that's only when he was still playing.
Larry Bird was a bad coach.
He was not a great coach.
He was a bad coach. What you mean? Did he get a team to the finals?
TPJ, let me answer your question. When Jason Kidd was coaching the Bucks, one of his last seasons, they had Giannis. Obviously, they had Eric Bledsoe. Malcolm Brogdon was on that team.
That's a good team. Malcolm Brogdon. No, wait a minute. Malcolm Brogdon was a rookie, G.
He won Rookie of the Year.
Jason Terry.
But you telling me Jason Kidd a bad coach?
The next year they made the playoffs.
You telling me? Wait a minute.
They had a team.
You telling me a bad coach?
I didn't say he was bad. I just said he put him at point guard. I never did I say he was a bad coach.
G.
I never said bad.
Who you rather at point guard? Giannis Antetokounmpo or Eric Bledsoe?
Probably Malcolm Brogdon.
That's not what the fuck I just asked you.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Giannis Antetokounmpo or Eric Bledsoe? I didn't say
Malcolm Brogdon.
You're lying, G. You're lying.
Malcolm Brogdon. And I probably Eric Bledsoe at point guard.
Wouldn't.
Eric Bledsoe.
You would not. You're lying. You ain't never said nothing good about Eric Bledsoe a day in your life.
This is the reality.
Come on, man. I'm out of here.
Jason Kidd.
Our cool-headed producer, TPJ. There he goes. All
Jason
right.
Kidd is going to be a little worse than Doc Rivers. Just a little worse than Doc Rivers. So you have to give him more personnel if you want them to compete. I think Jason Kidd is entirely too good of a basketball player to be a great coach. Like basketball players make bad coaches in the NBA all the time.
Well, there are a lot of former players getting jobs right now this offseason. Let's talk also about Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot, going to the Portland Trailblazers.
The best pickup of all coaching pickups this whole offseason
was Chauncey to Portland.
Yep.
All right. Now, he was a great player, a great point guard. You said they don't always make great.
He was not a great player.
No. He was good.
Yeah, he was a pretty good player. I mean, a long career. He developed later in his career.
He was
won championships.
He was a good point guard.
He was a decent point guard.
All right. But, regardless, why do you think he's going to be a great head coach in this league, Glasses?
Players that don't have athleticism, like Chauncey, they have to think the game a lot more. Chauncey was like really overrated as a player. Forgive me, Chauncey. I don't mean that to disrespect you. I think Chauncey he thought really well. He thought in good moments really well. I think he thought the game a lot. And I think if he's able to get Dame to come back and give him a chance for a year, immediately he was a great defensive guy. Like he could defend for a point guard. That was always special. But I really believe he's a defensive guy first. I remember hearing stories about him in Denver talking about how they didn't play defense.
Yeah.
So I think it makes Portland what I would love for my trade to happen. They should send Dame to Philly and send Ben here and let Chauncey get that with that defensive presence. And I guarantee you they'd be somewhere for him.
There's a 0% chance the Portland Trailblazers are trading Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons.
Like Ben Simmons.
Can I chime in really quickly? Because I actually did some research while y'all was out here slandering this man, Jason Kidd. The year that he put Giannis at point guard, which was, I believe, Giannis' second year in the league. It was his second year in the league. That team had Chris Middleton. Hold on a minute. That team had Chris Middleton, Giannis, Jared Bayless, Michael Carter-Williams, Chris Copeland, Jared Cunningham, Tyler Ennis, John Henson, Damian Inglis, O.J. Mayo, Greg Monroe, Steve Novak, Jabari Parker, Miles Plumlee, Grievous Vasquez, and Rashawn Vaughn. Don't tell me.
Team.
Bro, what are you talking about? You act like that was a
stop. Wait a minute. They finished 12th in the East that year. Every year after that, they made the playoffs.
Did they change the coach next year?
No, they changed the coaching, but you said they didn't make the playoffs. They made the playoffs 2 seasons straight.
Not that year.
Gee, they didn't make the playoffs the year he played point guard, and then the 2 years following that, when Jason Coach was the kid, they made the playoffs.
When he wasn't point guard, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because he went from being point guard, then he moved to small forward once they got Eric Bledsoe.
There you go.
So what are you talking about then?
What you mean?
How are you using that to diminish him when the guy literally said that gave me the confidence?
I was just saying he did put him at point guard, which I don't think he should have been playing point guard. But what I was gonna say about Jason Kidd was
sound like hate to me.
I don't necessarily like Jason Kidd will give Luka the ball, which is whatever coach you want him to give Luka the ball.
And Jason Kidd only made 1 playoff game. They got rid of him in the first half of the next season, and then John Prunty took over. And actually did better than Jason Kidd, and they lost in the first round the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got Bud and won 60 games.
Yep.
Still made the playoffs. Y'all said he didn't make the playoffs.
We said he made 1 playoff with all
No, y'all did not say he made 1 playoff. Originally, y'all said he did not make the playoffs. So
my apologies. He made 1.
Okay, all right. Thank you, fact checker. TPJ coming in hot always. I love it. Let's take it back real quick to the Damian Lillard conversation, though, that we were talking about with Portland. Glasses would like to see him in Philly to pair with Joel Embiid. I'm sure Philly would love that, but I don't think Portland's making a move like that. There are reports that Damian Lillard might not be happy. He might want out. I mean, we can play this hypothetical game all you want. I think if you're Portland, you got to do everything you can to keep him there and keep him happy. He's loyal. You're ready to see him out, see him move, Glasses?
It's not going to work. His offense is not it.
Well,
as fantastic of an offensive player Dame is, his offense is not it. You need to combine it with another really great offensive player. Like
who? I got an idea. Who would say no to this? I mean, a lot depends on what happens tonight, obviously. But if the Clippers are not able to overcome this 3-1 deficit, what about a Paul George for Damian Lillard swap?
I'm always for that, only because I never liked the concept of 2 small forwards on the court with Paul George and Kawhi in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they would be a fool if they didn't get. I would do Ben Simmons versus Paul George. Ben Simmons is a young player. He's probably going to be the greatest defensive point guard in the NBA. He's still probably the best playmaker in the NBA. You get him on the transition. You know, you have CJ McCollum to get skilled buckets, he's more of a skilled scorer than everybody on Philly's team. You get a defensive upgrade for a horrible defensive team. I don't know. I don't agree with y'all's take on Ben Simmons. Like, Ben Simmons is not a bad. Ben Simmons is 23, 24 years old.
Oh, yeah. He's an incredible defensive player. He's an elite defensive player, maybe one of the best in the NBA.
Offensive player. He's an elite defensive player. His ability to use skill scoring is one specific thing. But that's the same conversation with Giannis. That's the same conversation with Shaquille O'Neal. That was the same conversation with LeBron James for years. This is not the first time we watch athletes who use athletics to score the ball, right? He's not voided of IQ. It's just a tough thing when you got these limbs to shoot a damn shot. When you've been jumping over everybody your whole career, you just jump over them. So I still think the Portland Trailblazers, if they're listening right now to this podcast, because they probably
are. They listen religiously.
I know they need some tips. So take it from the LO.
Yep.
Go on and make that trade. Send Dame over there. He only got a couple years left at this level. Send him over there and let's see if he can get it done. With Embiid, they get their half-court guy that they want, and you bet on Ben Simmons. You get into the future, it upgrades your horrible defense that you be getting your ass whipped every year with. You start off with Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups to help him with his little offensive skill sets and looks, but you get a future perennial all-star. You get possibly the second or third greatest point guard defensive player. You get the best playmaker in the NBA, and you get probably the second best, well, now that LeBron is in year 19, the best transition player in the NBA. You get a young team to upgrade your offense. You get an upgrade to defense, and he's a monster. He's 6'10", 6'11". That is the only trade worth talking about.
Wow. Well, I'm kind of with the comment section. Lev Life is saying, man, hell no, he doesn't shoot. And I don't think that
Tell Love Life, CJ shoots. Everybody don't got
CJ does shoot. Yeah, absolutely.
Giannis don't shoot.
You
don't got to shoot.
Pavy, what do you think?
I'm personally with glasses. Like I know, like the TP had put the PG for Dame trade. I'm like, if I'm the Clippers, yeah, give it to me. If I'm the Blazers, why do I want Paul George? Like if I'm trading Dame Lillard, who is a 31-year-old point guard, like let's also be realistic about Dame. Love Dame. Dame is one of my favorite players ever put on a basketball jersey, literally ever. Love Dame. Shout out Dame. But he's about to be 31, and he's a point guard. He's also been extremely durable, and I've seen Dame limping more this year than I've ever seen Dame come up gimpy and limping. How much longer, realistically, do you really think Dame has at this level? Maximum, in my opinion, 1 to 2 more years. Maximum.
Unless you take a load off of him.
Exactly. In maximum at this level in Portland, 1 to 2 more years. I don't want to bring Paul George in because Paul George is 30. Like, yeah, it's a simple fix, I guess. You still will probably make the playoffs, but if I'm Portland, I want something for my future. So whoever you give me back, I want a young star back. And I'm with glasses. Ben Simmons, I don't like Ben Simmons was a run-up in Defensive Player of the Year. People say he should have won the award over Rudy. It was a whole conversation on the internet. He had one series. And now Ben Simmons just AJ Guyton.
But
how did this happen?
This was Doc last year. This is fucking Doc. Doc does this shit every year. Listen, I don't care if Ben Simmons don't shoot the ball.
You don't need to shoot right now.
Ben Simmons don't shoot the damn ball. Magic Johnson didn't shoot the ball. Shaq didn't shoot the ball. Giannis don't shoot the ball. Who the hell cares? He is in his 4th year as a professional. He is going to be possibly the greatest defensive point guard in the history of the NBA. He's on Gary Payton's line. He is huge. He can defend. He can play make out of this world. He's the best transition player in the NBA. That means he could run back on each side, defend, and score the ball. This is who you build a franchise behind. You don't build a franchise behind somebody, Luka Doncic, who could shoot the ball but can't defend. You build it around somebody who defines the position as a point guard, Jason. It's called the point guard. It's not called the point pass. It's not called the point shoot. You guard the point. This is the best person in the NBA doing it at 6'11". And then once he picks your pocket, he's gone, and your center can't stop him.
Well, one thing is clear. Ben Simmons needs to fire his agent at Clutch and hire Glasses Malone to represent him because no one talks him up better than you. I mean, I'm a believer again after listening to this gospel, man.
He in the NBA accomplishments. I mean, he's only 3-time All-Star. You know, he's only an All-NBA player already. He's already a 3-time. Me and the NBA both talk him up. It's just the fans who don't know shit.
Well, I feel you. I think fans want just a little more confidence out of him.
Fans don't know what they want.
The ball. Who's gonna shoot? I just want to see Trae Young because he shoots the ball. It don't matter that he shoots horrible. It don't matter he shoots 40%. It don't matter he's a midget. He's a dwarf trying to play against a giant in a giant league. They just like, who's going to make the last shot? Who's going to score? It's like you're talking to 6-year-old at time, bro. It's like crazy. Like
you're not winning over Love Life, in the comments.
I understand what Love Life. I respect Love Life, but Love Life got to understand historically what's won in the NBA. Defense. You're not going to win shooting. You got to get stops. Ben Simmons is the best transition player, undeniably, in the NBA. Ben Simmons is probably one of the best playmakers, if not number one. He's in the top 3, undeniably. He's
all right. We get it, Glasses. This is too much free press for Ben Simmons. He's incredible.
Portland out.
All right. Yeah, exactly. You're helping out Philly right now, definitely talking up his value. They need that. Daryl Morey needs some help. Real quick, we talked about most of the coaching changes in the league, but there's a couple others. The Boston Celtics hired their guy, a quick hire in M.A. Udoka, who was, I believe, with Brooklyn last season as an assistant, respected around the league. And then we still have 2 openings currently, Orlando Magic and the Washington Wizards, still 2 vacancies. And another former player, another former point guard is in the final running for Orlando, Penny Hardaway, possibly going back home. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Any thoughts on who Washington or Orlando should look at?
I love all of my childhood basketball players that I like growing up are getting a coaching job. Mm-hmm. As much as I agree with Pav about Jason Kidd, and maybe he's not going to be the coach they want, it's dope to see Jason Kidd coach in the NBA. Same thing for Chauncey Billups. Same thing for – I want Orlando to give Penny the job. Let's give Penny the job.
That'd be great.
I mean, you've been bad this long. I mean, Penny can't be worse than what you did.
They're going to be bad for a while too, Orlando. That is definitely a rebuild.
But at least people will come and see Penny. I want to hear Penny talk about the game.
Absolutely.
That's great until you can get the player you want.
And plus, he's got a lot of experience with young guys in Memphis. What he's done with that program with young players.
I actually think the Magic can make the play-in game next year. I think they were hurt this year, and I think
really,
yes, I think they were hurt this year. I also saw them play in person. One thing they do is play hard. They got Jonathan Isaac coming back. They got Fultz coming back. I think they got Bamba. It looks like he's actually decent.
They got some personnel.
Yeah, I think they can be a really, really good defensive team. I think they can be a top 10, top 12 defensive team next year, and I think they can actually make the play-in game. And I think, like, I'm with Penny. Penny would be dope. Like, it's Penny Hardaway, bro. It's
if
Penny.
I'm Penny, so the coach to me that should be getting a lot of press and people should want is Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown has done wonders with the early Cavs. You know what I mean? I think he did wonders. I think he's a great defensive coach. I think you have a couple teams that don't have that, but I think Mike Brown is the guy. I love Boston's pickup. I think that was ill. I want to see how it's going to work out, but I would like to see Mike Brown get more consideration for these jobs. You know what I mean? Because I think Mike Brown is somebody who, like, if you had a great offensive team, Mike Brown could get the best defense. Like, the thing I like about, real fast, the thing I like about Coach Bud Budenholzer, right, is Bud is a great defensive coach. He makes great defensive adjustments in the playoffs. He is a great defensive coach. He took that Atlanta Hawks team with all of that, they like the little rascals, and turned them into an incredible team with no all-time great players. There are no top 50 offensive players, no MVPs on that team. There's no defensive player of the year. He turned them into a playoff team. You know what I mean?
People forget that first year of the Golden State Warriors, dynasty, when they emerged, right alongside the East Coast version of that was the Atlanta Hawks with Joe Johnson, Paul Millsap, Al Horford,
without Steph Curry, with the offensive brilliance of Steph Curry.
It was with, Jeff Teague and Paul Millsap and Al Horford, right?
I have one hire I would like to see happen. D'Antoni in New Orleans. Do it.
Yeah, I don't care if they win or not.
Do it.
I would want to see it.
You have Zion. Well,
you want to sell some seats? You want to bring Zion to an MVP?
Sign Lonzo. We gonna run
and get Mike
throw lobs up and get Mike D'Antoni. And we gonna run and throw lobs up.
And speaking of New Orleans, I did see a rumor floating out there. Obviously, so many rumors, speculation around Damian Lillard, that New Orleans would be willing to part with Brandon Ingram and multiple draft picks, some first-round picks for Damian Lillard. I don't know if that's something that would excite Portland enough to entertain a possibility like that, but just imagine Dame Lillard paired up with Zion. That would be must-see TV.
No, it's going to slow him down.
Oh, okay. I would love it.
We want to run.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be in a transition if we are in New Orleans. I want to be in a transition. The only player in the NBA, the Clippers, that would be good, but I just don't understand why would they take Paul George at this point. Paul George doesn't replace what they have. He doesn't bring future value. The only player that makes sense for Dame to me is Ben Simmons, because you could transform your organization and have a future. But if I am New Orleans, I have an MVP. I have a future MVP right here, and I have the guy who's going to allow him to run and get out here and make it happen.
Also, again, like I said, if you get Dame at his age, I think you had to look at yourself and say, yo, if we get this guy, we can win a championship within the next 1 or 2 years. If New Orleans gets Dame, do you think that?
No.
It depends.
Championship.
You know what kind of defense you got to play to win the championship, Jesse?
Championship.
Yeah, no, they're not there yet. They're not there yet, even with Dame Lillard.
Do you bail out on Lonzo Ball? Like, what are you thinking? Like, no, you get D'Antoni, you got Lonzo Ball, you got Zion, and you run. Jeffrey, run. Let's go. Let's sell some seats. We're going to have the number 1 offense in the NBA. We're probably going to finish in the top 3. We're going to make our guy an MVP. His value go through the roof. We selling seats. Everybody believes in us. We probably going to lose in the second round, but we got there, and we got an MVP now.
Yeah. Had a lot of fun doing it, too. That would be fun to see. There's definitely going to be some big shakeups in the NBA offseason.
If I am a player in the NBA and I'm a young player, the coach I want to play for as a young player is D'Antoni. everywhere D'Antoni goes, he make MVP.
Well,
how did he win 2 MVPs? How?
He pads stats. He gets guys paid. I mean, everyone's offensive game goes through the roof because they play so much more free and fast paced.
Man, let's get him down there. Him and Lonzo, they running. Man, they gonna run. Nobody want to shoot a mid range anywhere down there in New Orleans. Let's get him out there. We gonna run. We're gonna get him
humidity. It's the humidity. You can't do that.
We gonna throw live. I'm telling Zion windmill once a game.
Man, it's gonna be
your highlight tape gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be the greatest show on earth.
Your highlight tape gonna be crazy.
Okay, I like that. All right. Well, speaking of one of the greatest shows on earth, actually, this is not the greatest show on earth at all, but I do have another NBA Top Shot pack to share with you guys. We're going to start giving some of these away, but I'm just here opening these packs, hoping that we get a Ben Simmons moment so that we can gift that to Glasses Malone, his next agent. So here we are. This is a release, base set Series 2 release that we got. I've been waiting to open some of these packs because I like doing it live with you guys. You never know what we're going to get. Glasses, as always, you get to pick. Do you want to go left, right, or middle?
This is Crip, Jay. It's always to the left.
Okay, all right. I'm learning. I should know by now. Apologies.
Here we go.
To the left. Here we go. Show me Ben Simmons. Okay. Phoenix Suns. Javon Carter. You can have that one. All right.
I don't want that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a nice
layup.
Nice
that was nice.
That was a nice move.
That was nice.
Nice layup.
Not bad. Okay. Javon Carter, he's I don't think he's seen the floor yet in this series.
He has not.
No, definitely not. He won't. Maybe he'll get in tonight. If it's a blowout end of the game, that's when Javon Carter may get another Top Shot moment. All right, Pavy, where do you want to go? Middle or right?
Go in the middle.
He's going in the middle. We're going in order today. Here we go. Our next moment is from the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh,
there you go. Okay.
I love Kuzma. I'm not one of these LeBron Lakers. I'm an LA Laker. I'm not an LE Laker. I'm an LA Laker. I love Kuzma. My homies love Kuzma. All the homies from the set love Kuzma. Only people who don't like Kuzma is people who overdo it with LeBron. Kuzma is our guy. Kuz, if you listening to this, fuck what they talking about, Kuz. I know the sacrifices you make for this team. We love you for that, man. We never talk bad about our guy. We never talk bad about Elton Campbell or Kurt Rambis. We don't do that. We celebrate all Lakers. So shout out to my man Kyle Kuzma. That was clean touch. I love that.
Kyle Kuzma, that was his first ever Top Shot moment there as well.
Hey, I had to come on because he boomed that man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, that man stumbling. That was hilarious.
All right. Our last moment. Hopefully we got another Laker or Ben Simmons. Let's see. We got from the Memphis Grizzlies, Xavier Tillman. Okay. All right. Well, that's not that exciting of a moment there, but you know, it's something. That's something that
pass was
Tillman alley-oop.
Guard. The pass.
What's that?
Guard. Pass. That was a good pass.
That was a good pass. All right. Hey, not bad. He is a rookie. So Xavier Tillman, rookie moment there. That is it for NBA Top Shot here today. We got some good moments. We got a Laker for my man Glasses. That's all that matters. Kyle Kuzma fan club as well.
Cool. I love all Lakers, man. Every Laker. I love Kurt Rambis as much as I love Magic Johnson.
Wow. Equal opportunity.
I love Elton Campbell as much as I love Nick Quick.
I don't know if I believe that.
Sedell 3 to Mans.
Man, I love Sedell 3. I was just on Clubhouse the other day. Who is the brother that used to wear zero? It's not Sedell 3. It was another brother that's from out here. He was like a Laker. I can't remember his name because it's so many Lakers. A success, huh?
Anthony Cooper?
No, he was dope too. He was like somebody that was balling. He's from here. He's from LA, but I was listening to him, man. I'm a Laker through and through. I love all our Lakers. I was so disappointed when we let our team go last year. I was always no way we're gonna win the championship.
You love them all equally. Man,
you got to. This is the Showtime way.
Okay, yeah, but don't tell me you love Eldon Campbell. You don't love Vlade Divac as much as you love Kobe.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's crazy. You got some hot takes, but
Vlade he took Magic's dimes and took that and brought it. And without Vlade, we don't have Kobe.
I know.
Vlade.
Yeah, all right. You love him just as much as Kobe. He turned into Kobe.
He gave us the second greatest gift of all Lakers.
Thank you, Vlade. That's incredible. Yeah. All right. Hey, before we get out of here, let's do some final predictions of the conference finals. Oh, man. Before we get into that, Inglewood Pizzle, I like that name, says, tell Kuzma to stop missing open shots and coloring his hair blonde.
Tell Pizzle you got to get more shots. Tell him to have your playmakers develop a mid-range and stop making sure my man can't get looks. My man he might get 2 looks today. He might get 20 looks tomorrow. Don't even know where he's shooting the ball from. It's crazy, and we blame him. This whole LeBron era and his fans, because I actually like LeBron. I think LeBron has ascended to the greatest small forward in NBA history. But what kills me about LeBron fans, man, is that is the era of blaming everybody. Yep. Like, I've never in my life heard Kevin Love was sorry till he played with LeBron or Kyrie Irving or Chris Bosh. Mm-hmm. Soon as you play with LeBron, you sorry. Like, people talk about AD. Like, they're talking about, AD is trash. He's blah, blah, blah. Snoop. And I'm like, what the hell are y'all That is toxic. Bro, it's toxic. He's toxic like a girl with a fake body.
Oh, man. You don't know what's going to set you off, Glasses. It gets you going, but we appreciate these comments.
So nice. Bro is toxic. His fans toxic. They come and pollute the Laker air. I can't stand it. It was fresh air, bro, because Showtime is about love, and we show love to all our players.
All right.
Michael Thomas.
Still in love. Unfortunately, the Lakers are in the Final Four this season, but we still got 2 conference finals matchups that are ongoing. We got tonight, 3 versus 1. The Suns over the Clippers. Will they finish it out tonight? What are your predictions? Or will the Clippers force a Game 6?
I think the Suns. I think the Suns get this one. I'm not gonna say last. I think Game 4 was as close to demoralizing as you can get.
Yeah.
Every game is a different game, but I think the Suns get this one.
Glasses.
Palmdale is a lot closer to Los Angeles, and this is the Clippers. Before I go for the Suns, I'm going to go for Los Angeles. I'm going to go for Palmdale P. I hope they figure out that they need to be reasonable with the minutes. I hope they trust their defense and decide that this is the day that they're going to pull off one of the most special moments in playoff histories and stop embarrassing Los Angeles by not getting it done. It's time to get it done, Clippers. Clipper Nation, let's get it done.
Okay, you hear that from Glasses Malone, a Laker legend, pumping up the Clippers, represented for LA. We'll see if they can get it done tonight. Ty Lue does know a thing or two about coming back down 3-1, obviously coaching the Cavs in 2016 to that amazing comeback. And finally, the Eastern Conference, we already touched on it, but it seems like we're all in agreement. The Bucks are going to win this series. It's just a matter of how many games.
Got to win it.
So, Glasses, what's your prediction? Who will win the series?
Bucks. I thought it was Bucks in 6, but honestly, it might be Bucks in 5.
It might be, especially with Trey's ankle. Pavy, you agree?
Yeah, Bucks in 5. Like I've thought 6 just because the Bucks just be stupid sometimes, but right. 5. I don't think the Hawks win another game.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. It looks like we all agree the Bucks will be representing the East in the finals. They still got to get it done. There's a lot of basketball to be played. But first, tonight, in just a couple of hours, we've got an elimination game, our first of the conference finals. The Clippers trying to stay alive and force a Game 6. Thank you to everyone for being here tonight. Inglewood Pizzle, we appreciate you for showing up, and everyone else who was in the comments.
Pizzle is a dope, talented rapper, man. I've met the guy a couple times. He's a super talented rapper. But he is a horrid LeBron fan. Horrid LeBron fan. But he's an incredible rapper. So shout out to everybody, all the fans, man. It was dope seeing y'all comments. Y'all need to put respect on Ben Simmons' name. It's silly for you to talk about somebody as great as him. You're going to regret it. Like, you've been regretting the Giannis conversation. That is coming to your head now. The Ben Simmons conversation will be at your front door real soon.
Okay, Ben Simmons on deck, future MVP and his future agent, Glasses Malone. Thank you.
Here too.
What's that?
Both.
Yeah.
Future MVP and future defensive player of the year.
Okay, he called it here. We're saving these clips. He puts out the bold statements. We'll see if it comes to fruition. Ben Simmons, don't sleep on him anymore, people. You heard it from Glasses. Glasses, thank you for being here as always, my man. You bring the hot takes, and he's out. He vanished. Pavy, he's back. All right. Glasses, we appreciate you, my man. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll hope to see you in person soon. We'll be back doing these in person real soon. Pavy, why don't you go take a nap? Because, man, you had a rough night, but you recovered strong for today's show. We appreciate it.
Always, man. I gotta be here, man. Always, man. I'm definitely gonna give you like a 30-minute to an hour nap in, though, for sure.
All right, get in that nap before the Clippers Suns game tonight.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. BD is on set this week. That's why he couldn't be with us today. He's got a million different shows, podcasts, tech companies invested in. Can't keep up with BD, but we try our best. He will be back with us next week, and hopefully we'll be back in person previewing the NBA Finals. So join us again, same place, same time, every Monday. Thank you for joining us. As always, I'm Jason's own Fisher. And who got game? Ben Simmons got game. Peace.